to it and you're speaking off to them.
Yeah.
Or whatever the shot may be, but doing that multiple camera and seeing the red lights and going, okay, well, I can, in my periphery, I know that's taking me, so I can say this line and this is going to, light it's on. So actually, when I'm saying my line, I can just look over there a bit and be captured by it instead of doing this, on camera. So
the thing is, the whole point of acting is to not act. But you can't help it because the process is making you act because you're thinking about what you're doing instead of just being.
Yeah.
And that's, I suppose, that's one of the fundamental processes of TV. But that's why you notice a difference when you see something, maybe of one of these high-end TV shows or a film where they can get into the character and it gives them that time and that setup. But yeah, TV shows like that, it's just, I don't think people realise just sort of, the process is fascinating.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, last night, because Ricky Gervais popped up as well, I know you worked on extras, and I was watching his new comedy special, and oh my God, he does not hold back. And I love Ricky Gervais because he's not apologetic about what he says, and he puts it into context and he makes people understand that it is a joke. But I was thinking last night, if it wasn't for people like him, I think comedy would be in a real shit state almost, because you have to have that honesty. And when you lose that a little bit, you know what I mean? Would you agree? Tell me a little bit about what your thoughts are on Ricky, because you work with him.
Yeah, well, he's an amazing creative. Whether you like his comedy or his scripts, or whether you like them or not, he is a comedy genius. I've always said that. He just has something, and he can see the world, and he can deliver that to people in a way that a lot of people can't. That's why he's as successful as he is. In terms of his comedy, I think, and as you say, he explains it. It's when he is not a cruel. I'm saying I don't know him in personal terms. To me, he isn't a cruel person with his comedy. It's he's laughing at people who would make assumptions about certain types of people. He's not saying I'm one of them. He take the way I see his comedy. Yeah, he ridicules people who have unfavorable views of other people.
Yeah.
From what I'm saying, I haven't seen the latest one, but he's just very...
Oh, the latest one. He does not, trust me, he does not hold back. I mean, even I was thinking, that is close to the bone, but then the other side of me was thinking, we need comedians like that, because like you say, I don't know the guy, but I'm guessing he's a lovely person. He's very professional. He's brilliant at what he does. And it's the irony, isn't it? Because, and this happened with Dave Chappelle as well, you talk, for instance, the trans community is a massive thing. You'll talk about them, but you're almost supporting them. You're supporting them, and you're pulling out the irony of people that are, I remember I had a lady on here, Holly. She was on the SAS show, lovely woman, and she was transgender, and she was saying one of the worst people that all transgender is people like Caitlyn Jenner. You know what I mean? Because they're not, it's like she said, I don't have to be dolled up and look like a woman to feel like a woman. I am a woman. Do you see what I mean? And sometimes I think, there is that irony, isn't there, where, I think that you're always going to have that small percentage that say, oh, hold on, you've offended me. But in reality, keeping the subject open and talking about it can only be a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, excuse me, I'm going here. It is that it's just acceptance, isn't it? It just leaves me flabbergasted that people aren't accepting of other people. And as long as you're not running around hurting other people, what does it impact on your life? We need to support each other and be loving to each other, not tearing each other down for any differences. We should be celebrating our differences.
And when we and I've seen a few of Ricky Gervais behind the scenes. He's always laughing and joking. What is he like on set? Is he like that, or is that just done for the cameras? And is he a consummate professional, or is he one of these that's just constantly joking about?
He is a professional to the bone, but he cops is like I've never seen.
Yeah.
But it's because he's like a kid. He just genuinely seems to enjoy, what he's doing, and people make him laugh. So he just cracks up and laughs. And he's when I worked, it was the most supportive environment, and people ad-libbing, and he was like, yeah, keep going. And even though he's written these scripts, people would ad-lib and bring their own ideas. And he was like, yeah, great. Okay, we'll do that again. So it may look like it's off the cuff, but if there were any ad-libs, he'd say, right, okay, great, let's do it again. Do that again. And the shots would be rehearsed, even though it was ad-lib. So, but it would always seem like it was off the cuff. And he does so many different angles, which is certainly when I worked with him, those different angles and different shots all make it kind of feel like it's voyeuristic and kind of watching in rather than being a TV show.
Yeah.
And he was great. I had the big scene in the makeup trailer where we can't remember it, and it went on forever. I mean, that's cut quite a lot in the show. It went on and on, and it was just that ringing of the towel, excruciating down. It was just brilliant, but for, obviously time restraints, I can't have the whole scene going on. But that was brilliant. But we were working, and the location was different to the one he'd had planned out, I think. So they had to rearrange the shots and things. And he was getting a bit, come on, let's get this done. We were a bit behind because of that. And he's never behind. The sets were always like just relaxed, professional, but everything was on time. We finished early we did a few days. They always finished early. And we were doing the scene, and I had to kind of do a bit of movement in it. And the camera, and we blocked it. And the camera chap was saying, look, I'm not going to get Sarah from this angle because it's going to be here instead of something. And I said, oh, I don't mind, changing, and I can walk, towards Lisa Tarbuck, who's in the scene, on that line if you'd like me to. And he was like, no. He said, we follow you, kind of thing. And I was like, okay. That is rare.
Yeah.
It's like, it's all about, generally, especially in TV, it's like, right, we need to be there, need to be there, need to be there. You might get a bit of rehearsal time, but and if the cameras come in, it's like, oh, we needed to do that now, or we just needed to be in that spot because we can't see you in that one, and you've got to change it and think of a reason why you would walk over there. That was the difference in his set, was the creativity was from the bottom upwards, or to top down, should I say. And him and Stephen, their creation and their vision, and the pair of them would be swapping, directing each other. So any discussions about dialogue you can have on set, it wasn't a phone call to the producers or
that's nice, isn't it?
You can't really change it, you can't. We've got
and I think that shines through on probably how successful he is, and him and Stephen, and you see it. I suppose that Office was the one that that rocketed him, and it's probably because of that process where you can tell all the actors are involved, you can tell the actors have had a say in it, and there's no strict structure, which gives you that documentary kind of feel, but it's fresh in it, and that
it is very structured. I would just come back on that. It does have that feel of being ad-libbed and off the cuff and quirky, but everything is planned out. Everything. So I don't know The Office, obviously I didn't work on The Office, but certainly in terms of extras, like a normal set, everything is figured out. And if it is ad-libbed, it was doing it again. So that is, like you say, the genius of it, because everything is so professional and known.
Yeah.
And if they do ad-libs, you've seen the outtakes, I'm sure, where they do most outrageous lines and ad-libs left, right and centre. But if there's one that works, so certainly when I was there, he would get them to do it again.
Oh no, that's good for an actor. Right, so tell me a little bit about your writing, because I know you said you're trying to find new roles difficult, so you are going to write roles for yourself, which I think is amazing. Because I mean, for me, someone that is low budget filmmaking and just, I'll write things I know I can film, I know I can make, I know the characters, and there's quite a lot of freedom in that. The downside is you've got to try and get it made.
You get somebody to give you some money.
Yeah, so we don't want any Marvel shit round here in your 200 million. Give me 20 grand and I'll do what I want to do. But so tell me a little bit about that, because this is under the banner of Bamboo Media that you're running as well, isn't it? Is that correct?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So this is been curating a few projects, and I've been writing on a project of a friend, and then we're working together. We're working on another project, but the one kind of flagship show, but the first show that we're going to do is the TV series that I've written. I've spent quite a few years working on it, and it's just morphed and progressed. And I thought, I want to write something, but I don't really know what I want to write about. And that thing of, come back to what you love, write about what you know, or what you're interested in. So I thought, well, I love sci-fi. I was like, how on earth am I going to write a sci-fi? Who am I to write a sci-fi? I thought, I like dramas. I like it when they're married. And I like grounded sci-fi. So things like Battlestar Galactica, the new series, or the latest series, the reimagining of that, and things like Misfits, they've got these supernatural elements or scientific elements, sci-fi elements, but it's all very grounded in reality, and it's not so far from the lives that we live, and it's just these people have extraordinary abilities or are in extraordinary situations or living with Cylons. So I like that aspect. So I'd had these two scenes in my head for years. So I thought, right. So one day I thought, right, got my laptop out and I thought, right, I'm going to start writing. I'd had a big shift in my life, and I thought, I'm going to start doing this now, because just do it. So I put these scenes down, typed these scenes, and they haven't really changed since I first typed them into the computer. And then I started blossoming it out from there and just creating this world. And then a very old friend of mine gave me, when she heard what I was doing, she said, "Oh, have you read this story? It's a short story, Command Performance."
All right.
That was in Galaxy magazine, which was the first sci-fi magazine in the 60s.
Wow.
And I hadn't. So I read that and I was like, oh my God, it really kind of fired my imagination. So I've taken that and then just kind of use that as a launch pad for the rest of it. So take the kernel of the idea and the themes in it, and then expanded it out and created a whole world and things. So this, I haven't started as you would normally do as a writer, going, right, I'm going to write about this, and it's going to be these characters, and I'm going to plot it out, and it's going to be X, Y, and Z. I've written it, and I've let the characters talk and develop, and I have a bit of a basic idea. So it's just mushroomed and blossomed and blossomed and blossomed. And hopefully the drafts have got better.
Is that into production, or is that something that you're pitching, or what?
We're in the kind of pitching stages of it. We're in the process of
pitching.
Yeah. You're in the boring bit now of trying to get people to give us money or to work with us.
Yeah.
So obviously we're quite new. I've been in front of the camera for quite a number of years, but not behind it.
Yeah.
So we're looking to perhaps partner with another production company and we can collaborate with, and got a producer. So we're going through all that at the moment.
Yeah.
That's the usual kind of waiting for other people to get back to you scenario.
Yeah.
So I'm just cracking on with other things.
Sounds interesting. And the other thing I noticed, because I know I spoke about this at the start with Bamboo Media, is you say you are trying to do more in the northeast regions, and that always interests me, because I'm a big Midlands filmmaker and I'm a big advocate of making films in the Midlands. It always is difficult because London's the heart of everything. It's where everything happens. Sometimes I'll have to go down there for certain things. Tell us a little bit about that, what that's about, getting more up there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm from the northeast, originally from Middlesbrough, and there is a lack of productions that are based there.
Yeah.
And also that promote the area in a positive light.
Yeah.
And we obviously got productions like Vera, which is great, but it's still this gritty northern thing, and there's murders left, right, and center, and it's all about the. I kind of wanted to create productions that were local based, as I say in the thing, this new term that's being phrased, glocal.
Glocal. I've not heard of that before.
Yeah.
What the bloody hell's that all about? Glocal.
Glocal. So it's
global local. Christ.
It's as it says on the tin.
Okay.
It's local production, local based with global appeal.
Yeah.
So, which is good because you, like you say, it's people outside of England will think of London, and when it's not, even we kind of think if it's regional based, then it's about the toils and the torment and the struggles that people have in these areas. And look how hard life is in the local areas, you know, in the regional areas. A lot of the time, I'm kind of, you know,
oh no, that sounds
broad brushstroke here. So I wanted to. It's a bit of a love letter to the Northeast, but it's also to show the Northeast in a really positive light. Yes, it's a psychological thriller, and there's darkness within it, but it's set there. The surrounding area and the landmarks are part of the whole atmosphere of the script. They are part of the script. They're very integral parts of the script as it develops on. And so I just wanted to bring people's attention and go, look, we've got this, we've got that. And there's all different aspects. And we've got the beach, and we've got the countryside, and we've got the towns, and there's the new infrastructure, and the juxtaposed with the old ancient structures, like in Newcastle with the castle, which is hundreds of years old.
It's because, and I think when you live somewhere, I mean, it's like where I live, you know, all those places that are fascinating, but no one else does. And it's sort of a way of saying, you know, I'd love it if I could make something and showcase this area and this land and this property and this history. So it's nice to do it that in a way, isn't it?
Yeah. And it just, I think it adds a bit of USP to it as well, that it's set in the Northeast, that this psychological thriller is set in the Northeast. There hasn't been one in the regions. It does tend to be big city kind of aspects. And I think that the musicality of the accents and the language bring another aspect to it. And there's an American character in the script, because the story will develop beyond there as well. And I just love the idea of American accent in the Northeast, because I always find it really
done that like a sore thumb, would you?
I always find it quite jarring when you watch things like American and you hear an English accent, or it's in English and you hear an American accent in it. It kind of makes you go, oh. But to stick an American accent in the Northeast, I think it'd be even jarring, which whole kind of layers with the whole,
especially if it's a strong, especially if it's like what's New York. It was like a New York accent, or it's real. Oh, that's terrible. That's why I never became an actor. But no, that does sound fascinating. So I always ask my guests for a bit of advice. It could be a bit of advice that you've given or you've had that maybe you could give our listeners a bit of advice. Yeah,
for me, the biggest bit of advice was from my dad, which was reach for the stars, because you can always come down a little bit. That's his paraphrase of it.
You can always come down for a little bit.
Always come down a little bit and land on the moon. Just to strive for something, to reach, just to reach for the stars. I think that's going back to the RADA thing. It was the best place, so that's where I wanted to go. And if it didn't work out, then something else would happen. But if you never try for those high-end things, whatever it is in your life, if you don't try for it, then you're never going to know whether you could have achieved it or not.